Welcome to another GA Canine training video, folks. Today we're featuring an air scent problem working in a double-blind condition. This is where nobody knows where our source is other than me, the person who put it out, and I'm flying the drone. I'm not with the handler, I'm not with the dog, so I can't influence this in any way. The handler's working in a situation in a place that she's never been before on a subject she doesn't know. The hiding place is a little unusual and completely unknown. This is going to be a difficult problem. Now, I'd like to kind of critique how the dog's working and the things that it's doing as it happens. Right here, we're seeing a distraction. This is probably dog pee or dog poop. You can tell by the focus and then the drop of the tail. Now, it's very important to understand that the person didn't walk out to this location. I brought them out from the back way in by a vehicle. So there's no track or trail. This is strictly an air scent problem all by itself. Okay, so this is Dog Poop Alley, and the dog gets off on another spot of poop right here, or pee. Very, very common to have occur, especially when the dog is nowhere near within the range of the handler. But the dogs have to be proofed off this type of stuff. In trailing, we set up trails specifically for this purpose. If they get off on any other type of odor, they need to be corrected for it. I don't allow this. Now, one of the things that's starting to happen right now is the dog's starting to detect something from a distance. The speed's increasing, the agitation's coming up. And you're going to see some big behavior changes. I think the dog begins to isolate some odor along this fence line and along this shady area along the ditch. And then the dog is going to bounce out wide into the open field. You're going to see the agitation and intensity increase significantly as the dog's trying to bracket the odor or find the scent cone. I think this fence line in this shady ditch area is really collecting some good odor, and it's one of the reasons why the dog starts gravitating back to it again. But you're going to see as the dog moves along, the isolation of odor begins to pick up a little bit better. The bracketing occurs, and I think the dog actually nails a scent cone coming up around this tree right here. You're going to see some big behavior changes, big intensity, and also speed. Now, the dog leaves this bracket right around this location, starts to make a correction on its own and turn around. And as it starts heading back towards the tree, we saw this little head pop right there. You're going to see a big change right there. This is where the dog isolates the odor, zeroes in on the scent cone, and isolates the source. So the dog's just made the find and now going into what we call a refined behavior, where the dog's supposed to come back and tell the dog, hey, source is over here. But I believe the dog is detecting body language from the handler that's a little unclear, so it doesn't complete this process. And it's because I think the handler doesn't believe that really something is here. She can see the fence line. The bushes cover the other side, but she sees that there's really nothing here. And so in her mind, it can't be real. So the dog's, in its mind, believes that, hey, I'm not doing the right thing for the handler, so I need to look around a little bit more, which it does. Comes back to the fence, isolates odor one more time. Now our subject is directly on the other side of the fence, closest to this big tree to the right. You can see a little outline in a green shape. That's our man sitting right there. Very, very visible, perhaps to the drone, but not to somebody on the other side of the fence due to the bushes that are growing up on here. Now, the dog tries to isolate odor, figures this is a fence, and also understands that there's a way around it and tries to go. The unfortunate thing is the handler disallows it because she's worried about traffic on the other side. The dog is disengaged from source and put out into another search pattern. Now, why does this happen? I believe it's because not enough work in double-blind situations where there's nobody with the handler that knows what's happened, knows where the subject is, or how they got there. And when you create a condition like this, it makes it a little uncomfortable for the handler because they have to completely go by dog body language, not by any perceived or known conditions. And so when you take away knowledge, you have to rely completely on the dog. That makes it tough. That makes you a little bit unsure. So what's the moral of the story? If you've got a good dog, if it's good on human odor, double blind, double blind, double blind. Now, I'm going to say something that people are not going to be a fan of at all, and that's I hate the refind. The reason why I hate the refind is it takes dog off source. And which means they're disengaging from what it is you're supposed to be looking for and now re-engaging on the handler. And a part of that re-engaging is now looking for behavior from the handler that says, hey, you're doing the right thing, go back. Now, if the handler's unsure, you're not going to get the right type of behavior, and the dog is not going to respond in a way that's comfortable for the handler, and everything could fall apart. So what's the solution? I like a dog that sticks on source, especially in the beginning stages of imprinting. And I don't care if it's trailing, detection, or air scent. When a dog gets locked on odor, I don't want it moving its nose from the direction of the source. I want him so focused that even a blind man can see that the dog is on source. Once we have that, and once it's clear that the dog is really reacting and isolating odor, and more importantly, that the handler can read it and follow up, then maybe, just maybe, we can reintroduce the refind. Now, I understand all the justification and rationalization for the refind. It doesn't mean I have to agree with it.